Today is the first day of the retreat, actually. And as I said, for the first few days, for those who are beginners in this retreat, you're going to take a bit of a steep climb in the sense of to learn the technique of the meditation. Oh, yeah. Before I start, today, what I'm going to do is the sitting is that uh, when we do for a longer retreat like this, yogis are not supposed to sit so near to each other. You can smell each other. What I'm going to do is that we're going to put 4 in a row, not 5 in a row. This is a bit too cramped. By the time you put your things beside you, your shawl, you'll be touching to the next yogi and may disturb them. So what we'll do is we're going to put 4 in a row. The last row, we're going to put it. We're going to shift also the lanes, the lines. The last line, we're going to shift another one to the back, so we can have accommodate another row. We have more than enough walking spaces right now, and men the men and the monks will take the first 3 rows. Okay, then the female will take the other 2 rows. Then here, then again, your shift accordingly. Here, all the females. The first five of them, these are occasionally the 2 nuns may come in to meditate. They are volunteering, and then the other one, she has a hearing problem, so she sit right in front of the speaker. So the first one, maybe we put 5, no problem, but the second, third, and the 4th row, we're going to shift another row to the behind. Yeah? So 4 in a row for this area. We're going to do it during lunchtime. When y'all go out for lunch, the volunteers will come in and then they will shift. Okay, so the first 3 rows will be for the female, for the male. The other 2 rows will be for the females. Good. Now, while we are here, as I said yesterday, we have to keep the noble silence. We have to be careful with our speech and also with our actions. Actions here that I want you all to slow down, to relax, to be more gentle, and to help to help you in physically. It conditions also the mind to relax. It conditions the mind to not to think too much, and also to settle the mind in the next coming days. So it is very important for us to do that. Now, for today, I'm going to go through the basic introduction on this walking and sitting. Now, when we come to meditation, usually or mostly, the meditators or the yogis will think that sitting is the most important thing. Just like every Buddha statue that you see, it's sitting. Yeah? But in reality, in the meditation, walking is one of the most important part of mental development or the overall progress of the meditation. You cannot do this development of this meditation without a good walking meditation. So therefore, you need to know its technique. You need to know why we need to do this walking meditation in order for us to progress further. Uh, The why will come in a bit few more days later, But in the meantime, it's important to get the technique right, or at least to get a sense of what the meditation technique is, especially for this walking meditation. Yeah. Now, while we are here, especially in this retreat, my emphasis is also on the walking and sitting and daily activities, three things we have to cover. But the first thing first is to make sure that we know the walking meditation. First thing, we have to get it right. We have to go through all this trial and error just to polish up that technique of walking. Yeah. Now, here we have a schedule to 1 hour walk, 1 hour sit. 1 hour walk, 1 hour sit. Now, in this 1 hour walk, 1 hour sit, hopefully make sure you all follow the schedule. Walking time, you walk. Sitting time, you sit. Walk time, you walk. Sit time, you sit. You have to do that because you want you to optimize your time here. And remember that you have a 12 days of meditation retreat. Then when you do that, it will be very helpful to optimize your time for the progress, for the development while we are here. Now, in this 1 hour of walking, basically what we do is we want to divide the hour into 3 parts. The first part, second part, and the third part. Roughly maybe like 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes each. Now, the first part of the walking, the first 20 minutes of the walking, we call it the one-phase walking meditation. Then the second part, we call it the two-phase, and the third one, we call it the three-phase walking meditation. Just to keep things simple. You're going to get a little bit more complicated later on, but for the beginning part, we just stick to the one phase, two phase, three phase. Now, in the one phase walking meditation, perhaps that you may have seen some yogis, some meditators have been doing some walking meditation in this morning. You may see them what they do externally, but the walking meditation is not about anything that is external. A little bit on the external, but mostly is on the internal. Mostly is how you pay attention to your object of your meditation, not how fast or how slow you walk. Now, the first 20 minutes, we call it the one-phase walking meditation. So here, what we do with the walking over here is you find your own lane. For example, inside here or in a corridor. Try not to do too much walking meditation outside of the hall because you get a lot of distraction. Any small little thing will distract you away and it will disturb your meditation. So what you should do is try to stay in the hall, pick a lane, any lane that you want. The lanes are not reserved like a sitting area. You can pick any lane, corridor, or the behind, or the other side, or the both corridors with the side here. So anyway, the length of the space is about that. Walking meditation cannot like you go from one end of the hall to the another end of the hall. We don't do walking meditation in that way. Basically, walking meditation has a limit. It's a predetermined length. The predetermined length for most people will be about 15 to 20 steps of normal steps, 15, 20 steps of normal steps. Then it is about right. You cannot like have a football field and then you walk the whole football field for walking meditation. That is not helpful for meditation. In fact, that will get you tired, get you a lot of distraction. So there's always a predetermined limit or predetermined length. So when you go into a length, to go to your walking path, then you have you stand at the one end of your path. All right. So you stand on one end of a path. Then this time when you want to do walking meditation, you stand first. You keep your hands towards the front. You hold it together, or put it in a pocket, or fold it, or put it at the back. As long as the hands are not swinging, the hands are not swinging. You keep it this one, and the eyes you keep it about 6 feet in front of you, 5-6 feet in front of you. Don't let the eyes look here and there, look up, look down, look to the side, look to the front, look at other people. No, your eyes is supposed to keep 5 to 6 feet in front of you. And this eyes also, whenever you walk from one place to another place, then also you have to keep your eyes in front of us, about 5-6 feet in front of us. We are not like when we are out there, where we can look at anything we want. Here, not only just able to be mindful, but also the certain degree of discipline in the senses, that we have to careful with our senses and don't let it go too much into everything. I know the place here is beautiful. The place is nice, greens, trees, birds, and everything else. But those things are sources of your distraction. So you got to be disciplined. You got to hold the mind, hold the eyes back to your path in front of you. Just put the eyes, just look at 5 to 6 feet in front of you, for most of the time. Then, then you come back to the walking. So you put your hands together, your eyes are this one, and you are ready to walk. Now, when you are ready to walk here, what you do is that before you start walking, now you are in a standing position, right? You're in a standing position. When you're in a standing position, what you do is that you label, you mentally say it out, not verbally, mentally you say it out as standing, 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 standing. That means you begin to label as the head, from the top of the head, as if like you are scanning down the whole body. Standing, 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 standing. Just to bring your mind back again to the present. Be here to the now. Standing, 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 standing. So take note of that. Standing, 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 standing. And then this is where you begin. Now the next one, before you start walking itself, before you start that walking, what you do is that the next thing is that you try, if you can, you notice the intention. Then you notice your wish, or you notice your desire to start walking. Then you note intention to walk, or desire to walk, desire to walk, desire to walk. Normally we don't do that when we are out there, but in a Vipassana meditation, this is one of the areas that we have to develop. Later on, you'll see the impact of it. In the beginning, it feels superficial, but over time, it will develop something. Okay, you start off with that walk standing. Standing, after that, you go into intention to walk, intention to walk, intention to walk. You label it about 3 to 4 times. Intention to walk, desire to walk, desire to walk. Standing also the same thing. You notice standing, 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 and then only you start doing labeling on the intention. That everything, and you haven't started walking yet. So, you see, the Vipassana has a lot to do internally. It's not too much on the external part. Okay, now, after 3 or 4 times of noticing the intention, then you start to move the leg. And that means the actual walking starts. Now, in a one-phase walking meditation, it is quite simple. It is not too difficult. All you need to do is to make sure you don't let the mind run to other things. How do you do that? Here, we're going to make sure that our attention stays on the movement of our feet. So, now so you start walking. Right step, left step, right step, left step, right step, left step. Now we start with the right step, left step. Again here, what you should do is to put the labeling on the steps. That means you mentally has to label it, not just walk. Mentally you have to say it out: right step, left step, right step, left step, right step, left step. You may have a lot of sometimes right step, left step, and then your thoughts is just beside you. All the thoughts away. Our life is to want to simplify a lot of things. But our life is so complicated due to our so much thinking that we have. Then every time we do something, the thoughts want to come in. They want to ask why we should do that, why why this, why that, why can't I do this, why can't I do that? That all you put aside. There's no answer for all these things. All you need to do is to put all these thoughts away and keep the mind simple. Simple, but yet when it develops, it becomes very powerful. So, just simple, we start off with right step, left step, right step, left step, right step, left step. Not too difficult, isn't it? It sounds easy. It sounds easy. Wait till you do afterwards. See whether your mind stays or your mind at home. But the body is here. Or the mind is at work. Or the mind is everywhere except here. It's all about bringing the mind back to the present, to here and now. So we start off with right step, left step. And this right step, left step, don't go too slow and don't go too fast. Don't go too slow, don't go too fast. It's more like a gentle walk. A gentle walk. You may see some other meditators, they are going quite slow. Don't try to match their speed. This is not a competition of slowness. This is walking, right? This is walking. This just right step, left step, right step, left step. Don't go too fast, don't go too slow. So, right step, left step, right step, left step until the end of your path. So when you come to the end of your path, then you stand. So when you come to the standing again, so what do? Again, you label it as standing, 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 standing. Your body walk, you label it as walk, right step, left step. Your body stand, you label it as standing. Standing, standing, standing. Then after that, you want to turn. You want to turn on your spot to face the path back again. So you turn. Then again, what do? You label it as turning, 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 turning. Then again, you face back to the path again. Then again, the same thing, standing, 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 intention to walk, intention to walk, intention to walk. Then right step, left step, or left step, right step, left step, right step, whichever it is. Simple, isn't it? It's not too difficult. Although when it looks simple, don't underestimate its power. You do not see how powerful it can go just to bring the mind stabilize on the present moment. Just here, not following our thinking, not following our thoughts, and not get distracted all over the places. Just being here right now. Yeah. So you do this about 15-20 minutes. Yeah, just to make sure that your body is able to settle down, to relax, to be here. Then you start off with that one phase. So after 15-20 minutes, your mind starts to calm down. This is where you want to go slightly slower than your one phase. This is where you start your two-phase walking meditation. Now, again, the same thing. After you do the standing, then you notice the labeling. Now, you want to go slower in the movement of your feet. So, the word, the concept here is about two-phase. So, two-phase, what it means over here is that you break the the movement into two parts or two phases. One part, the first one is called the lifting, and the second one is called the dropping or the stepping. Yeah. So you have a lifting, stepping, lifting, stepping, lifting, stepping. Okay. The lifting and stepping. So what you do is that when the feet is going up, so you label it as lifting. You label it as lifting. When it comes down, you label it as dropping or you label it as stepping. Lifting, stepping, lifting, stepping. Yeah. Now here, an additional something that perhaps you want to feel. Yeah. Say when you lift up and you drop and the feet is touching the ground. So when it touch the ground, if you can feel like something like a hardness or a warmness or a little bit of pressure, I want you to feel it, because this one, it will help you into staying on the present moment even longer. It will help you to stay for the mind to being here at the present for a bit longer period of time. So lifting, stepping, sometimes you may feel something on the lifting also, perfectly fine. Then feel it. Sometimes you may feel a bit heaviness, a bit of tightness, a bit of sometimes a bit of shakiness, vibration there. Whatever that you notice, well and good. Yeah. So you don't go too fast like your one phase. You go a little bit slower than your one phase walking meditation, just to make sure that you can able to feel the lifting and the dropping of your sensation. Yeah. Again here, there'll be a lot of thinking coming in, and also sometimes sleepiness also. Walking not too bad, but sitting you're going to have a problem later on. Anyway, the walking here is that when the thoughts come in, all kinds of thoughts come in. If you can, and you have to, actually, not if you can, you have to. Don't entertain those thoughts. Right? It will ask you, it will give you a lot of commentary, you will go into memories, you will recall your loved ones, if you go into planning about the future. What else? Everything else except meditation, except being here, being now. So all the thoughts that come in, Don't entertain them. As much as possible, put them aside. No matter how intriguing, no matter how pleasant the thoughts are, no matter how wonderful the thoughts are, they are just creation of the mind. In the next few days, we're going to look into that area a little bit more. Uh, but in the meantime, don't bring. I mean, don't go into the story of the thoughts. Don't go into the content. Don't go into just tell yourself just to be back here in the present moment, here with the body. So if you go onto the mind, you go inside the mind. Well, yes, you can still walk, but you're not meditating anymore. Yes. Now your mind is just away, but so so you do not know whether the person is mindful, whether it's present, or whether it's they're meditating or not. Just because they walk slow, just because they walk clearly, looks nice of how they do the walking meditation. So a lot to do with internal part of the mind, of your heart. So make sure that your thoughts, as whatever thoughts come in, you put it aside. Other meditators are meditating beside you. Also, try not to look at them too much. Just do your own meditation. Of course, initially, beginners, they tend to like to see other meditators how they do. Well, a little bit is not a problem, but I have to remind you is that most of the thing is internal. The meditation is everything a lot to do with internal part of our. The development is all internal. So this is on the 2-phase. Now we come to the 3-phase walking meditation. Now 3-phase walking meditation is that normally we come towards the last 20 minutes or last 15 minutes of the hour. So you go from gentle, fast, and then after that you go a bit slower, then we go slower, and then you come to the 3-phase, you go even slower or as slow as you can go. As slow as you can go. As at the same time you keep your body in a way balanced. Now here when you come to the 3-phase again when you start off standing and you know the intention again, then this time you start off with the lifting, a pushing, and dropping. So the movement is divided into 3 parts, 3 phases: a lifting part, a pushing, and a dropping. Now, when you go slow, your feet is not too far apart, meaning that it's only about 1 feet in front of you, roughly about 1 feet in front of you. It's not supposed to be going too far. You go too far, you make your body really imbalance. It's just only about like that. So what you do is that you walk and you lift up your leg. You lift up your leg about 2 or 3 inches above the floor. Not too high until knee high lifting. Then again you're going to have a lot of problem. So it's only about 2 or 3 inches above the floor. Just slowly, gently bring it up. While you gently bring it up, or when gently you're lifting the leg, then you label it as lifting. Mentally you say it out as lifting. And then again you go into pushing. You label the pushing. Then when it goes in dropping, you label it as dropping. Okay? Now when it comes to the lifting, you do it as slow as you can. Okay? At the same time, I want you to feel the sensation or the movement a little bit more than previous ones, like the 2-phase or 1-phase. I want you to feel whatever that you can feel. Sometimes you may feel a bit of warmness or coldness, or you can feel a bit of tightness, or a bit of heaviness, or a bit of lightness, or whatever that you can notice. Yeah? Then after that, you notice the pushing. So while you label it as pushing, you notice the movement is going forward. At the same time, I want you to feel the force of the movement. Sometimes as it glides forward, it may be a bit of very light. Sometimes for some people, it feels a bit heavy. Sometimes some people may feel a bit of wobbliness, perhaps, whatever it is, your job is to learn to feel them and not to disturb them, not to think that this is not right, this is right. You don't go and judge them. Your job is just to observe and notice as they are. So if it goes forward, it glides forward, you just notice them. So when it goes down into the dropping or stepping, so you label it as dropping or stepping. As it goes down, again here, as it touches the floor, I want you to feel the sensation. Sometimes you may feel a bit hardness, softness, warmness, coldness. Even when we wear socks, sometimes we may feel a bit of sweatiness. Feel it. Feel them, whatever that you can notice. Sometimes you may not have the words for it. You may not have the vocabulary for it. Doesn't matter. Just learn to feel them. Yeah. Feel the sensation as they are. Don't start to, let's say you were to feel something warm. Then you start thinking, why is my feet so warm today? What is wrong with my feet, or what is right with my feet? This thing, you put it aside. There's nothing wrong with you. It's wrong is just as too much thinking. It's just the nature of the leg is like that. Then so be it. Learn to feel it as they are. Yeah. Vipassana, we have to put a lot of this thinking aside. So we just learn to feel the sensation in the present moment. Yeah. Sometimes this lifting, pushing, dropping, if you at times, and if it's possible, you can do it up to like 20 minutes to 30 minutes also. So then we reduce on the first phase and the second phase. But it's good to make sure you master all the three phases. Each and every one of them, they have their pros and cons as we go into the further development. Yeah. Initially, it's about getting it right, just to learn to feel how the walking it's going on. The trial and error as you go from day to day. Yeah. So this is on the part on the walking. Yeah. Not too difficult. And first 3 days, make sure you do your walking meditation thoroughly and properly, because your sitting meditation is not going to give you anything. You'll sleep, yes. This is where the walking meditation is going to build up a lot of mindfulness, a lot of strength, a lot of energy, in order for you to push the meditation further. Sitting may not be so good in the first few days unless you are been doing meditation day in, day out, every day. Then when you come here, yes, it can like as if like it's continuity. But some of us, or many of us, we don't. We are everywhere, but not here. Everywhere else. Yeah. Yeah. Even we stay in the temple also, there are thousands of things to do also. Doesn't mean that we are calm and serene, in that sense. No. It's until we truly put everything aside, all our responsibility aside, and just be here in the present. Yeah? So before we go into the sitting, any question on the walking? So far, understand? Able to understand? Yes. For the meantime, we completely notice from the ankle, no, ankle below, and then to see the movement over there. Later part, in the next coming days, I also will teach you on the noticing the upper part also. We just go one by one. This one is already tough enough. Just to follow this one is already tough enough. But later part also we'll just make sure that I'll incorporate a bit of other sensation for us to make sure our mind is occupied. Okay? Yes. And usually for the intention, what we do is that, especially for beginners, we normally will instruct to do beginning of the walking, and then when you do towards beginning of the walking, then you come to a stop, and then you want to turn. Sometimes some yogis, they have learned also about intention. When they turn also, they also notice the intention. But for a beginner, when they do too many intention, they get very stressed out, because honestly, the intention part, later part, the next 2 or 3 days, we'll talk about the intention even deeper, and we're going to see that in the beginning part, noticing the intention is quite superficial. Yeah. So what we do is that we begin the standing part in order to transition into walking. Then we notice the intention. But if you want to adventurous enough, then if you want to turn once in a while, you want to do the turning, you try to notice the intention. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. But it can be quite taxing for some people. If it's too taxing, drop it off. Just turn. Then after you face the path again, then you start off with noticing the standing. After that intention, then start walking. Okay. You see, this vipassana meditation, it's a very different form of different technique of meditation, especially comparatively to the tranquility type of meditation or serene type of meditation or just calming type of meditation. It's very different. Yeah. We're going to go, not to say that we don't need the serenity or we don't need the calmness. We need all those things. But these are not the main thing. Yeah? These are not the main thing. We use that as a support. Because as we go into Vipassana, we're going to find that there's going to be a lot of struggle, a lot of pain, a lot of unpleasant feelings coming up. So within that suffering and all this difficulty and pain and this one, the mind has to be serene and calm and able to observe all this unpleasantness of the body and mind, or rather life itself. So the walking meditation, it helps us to bring up a lot of this mindfulness and effort for the mind to able to withstand and calm and peaceful and clear with all the difficulties that is coming, or is already there, other words. So the walking meditation is very helpful. You have to treat walking meditation as a meditation, not just as something to pass time and waiting for the sitting meditation. That is not the way. You have to treat walking meditation as a technique of meditation. Sitting is another technique of meditation. Together, you have these both together, you see that when you able to master both technique, both area, you see that the progress goes better. Yeah. All right. Okay, we turn to the sitting meditation. Okay. Now in the sitting meditation, as I said, these first few days is not going to be easy on sitting meditation. Even when you come to first interview, uh, there's not going to be much on sitting meditation. Honestly, this is not our first retreat. This we have been doing so many retreats again and again, and we've seen yogis, we've seen meditators of from all over the world. And humans are human. It's not going to change that much. So first few days is going to be difficult on the sitting, but nevertheless you have to try. Make sure you do the walking meditation as best as you can. Yeah? Now, when you come to the sitting, what you can do is a few things on the sitting. Firstly, we talk about the posture of the sitting. Don't take the posture too drastically. I mean, it's good to have able to have a good posture, but again, for vipassana, everything is internalized, internal part of it. That is the most important one. Now, in order for us to do sitting, it would be good that for a long period of time, sitting on the floor, it's actually better, or rather, sitting cross-legged will be always better than sitting on the chair. For long-term development. Unless one has a injury of the leg or injury of the back or something problem with our body, or sometimes I've met with yogis, they come with a knee replacement or hip replacement, and then it's going to be difficult, impossible for them to sit in cross-legged position. So then they sit on a chair. Now, sitting on a cross-legged position, it's more of an Asian thing. But it's good because that it really stabilizes the body in terms of long-term basis. Beginning, yes, a bit difficult because we are not so used to crossing the leg and bending the legs and stretching the muscles and tendons too. So you may feel a bit difficult. Okay. So now what we do is to go through a little bit on how to do sitting. Now when we sit cross-legged, there are a few types of cross-legged technique. One technique is called the Burmese technique. The Burmese method is not to overlap on the leg. It's just that the two legs is either the left in, the right out, or the right out, the left in, whichever it is. As long as you are comfortable. So they don't overlap on it. And for a lot of people, they find it that this technique is good for them. So, for female, maybe this cushion may be good for you, but sometimes for male, it may be a bit too small. I think so. Yeah. One thing is that because when you sit cross-legged here, make sure that you try to pull your knees as far as you can go. Yeah. Not too near, but stretch it out a little bit more if you can. As long as you are comfortable. This is one thing. And then if you're not able to do that and you find that your knees are a little bit hanging, just go and find some cushion or towel just to slot it in, just to make sure that your knees are comfortable in that sense. Even for me, when I sit, one leg able to go flat on the ground, the other leg also hanging over so many years. Yeah. So just put something there and just to balance it out. Yeah. So you find your way. The other one is to sit half lotus position, quarter lotus they call it. Quarter lotus here, it's that one leg is on your calf. You put on your calf, whichever leg is on your calf. And another one is to have the technique of half lotus. Is one leg is down, the other leg is on the other feet is on the thighs. And then you have the full lotus. The full lotus, that means the two sole or part of the feet is on the thighs. Yeah. That is difficult. I don't do that. Yeah. And that is not a requirement. If you can do, you do. And other people are able to do, and you look at others, wow, they could do that. I want to try. You're going to break your leg. You're not able to get up from the seat after that later on. Yeah. To me, as I said, the external part is only 5% of your help you. 95% is what you do internally. Yeah. But there are other meditation technique. I mean, other places. They require you to sit full lotus. You have to go through a yoga for 3 months first. Then until you're able to bend your legs, everything, then you come to the retreat. So for me, I don't do that. No, I don't do that. So make sure if you can sit cross-legged, then you sit cross-legged as best as you can. And then find cushion to slot it in here and there if you need a bit more comfort. The other one is to sit, also find some cushion at the buttocks also. You see, this one is a bit of a slope, this cushion a bit slope. So some people already find it is good enough for them. Well and good. Sometimes some people don't like the type of slope. They want their own height. They want their own, this one. So you can go and find a flat, flat cushions, and then you want to put a bit of something on top. Is up to you. As long as you find it is comfortable for you, then well and good. So you have that one, the legs, and the other one is the hands. Now you keep your hands like either you want to put your hands here or here, or you want to put your hands on the thighs also is possible. Yeah. As long as your hands are comfortably placed. Now, comfortably placed has got it's got its own deeper meaning. Meaning that when you place your hands in this way, let's say, then sometime for us, if you are doing the Burmese method where they don't overlap on each other, you may find that your hand is going down too low. Then what they do is that some people they put a towel or a cushion on top of their thighs, and then they just leave the hands there. Then they find it also comfortable. Because sometimes if you put it too low, then you're going to stretch your muscle and everything on your shoulders. Putting on your thighs, okay. But then if you start getting sweaty, if you find something warm and so on, you're supposed to still keep your hands there, not to change it. Some people like to this way and this way. And don't do this way. You see a lot of this movie, and then you sit like that. This is all show only. There's no much of a significance in the Vipassana meditation. In some other people, they say that whatever they want to say is get connection and all that thing. No. Yeah, that is not what we want over here. So sit comfortably, sit this one. Some people also they sit instead of doing this way, they put their hands in this way. As if like they close in that. Also, it's possible. No problem. As long as your hands are comfortable. Now, Legs and hands, you try to sit at that position as long as you can. Not 10 minutes like this, then another 10 minutes like that, and 5 minutes again, you go back. No, stay, hold it, hold. Hold until if you can finish the hour, will be good. Yeah. Leg also the same thing. Stay there. I know it's going to be difficult for some of you. We understand. Yeah? But try to stretch it as long as you can. Ideally, we were going to sit there for 1 hour. The moment you sit there, everything adjusted, you stay in that position for the whole hour. Now, many of us also, when we start off with this meditation, we cannot sit still. You give me 15 minutes, we are going, and then the whole body is screaming right now. You know, the pain is there and so on. But it takes a lot of training, development also, to able for the mind as it getting stronger, clearer, the mindfulness getting better. Then you will see that you actually can sit longer. Not because your body is adjusted. It's actually the mind gets stronger that you can withstand the difficulty and the challenges that arises through as within that hour of sitting. Yeah. So try as best as you can. Don't move the body. Yeah, as best as you can. And if you happen to move the body, try to move slowly and don't disturb the people beside you. Okay. So that is on the hands. Now, so on the back, again, we try to keep a back straight, but not stiff straight now. Relaxingly straight. Yeah. Sometimes relaxingly straight, maybe, here there are 4 or 5 people who are 80 years old. There are also 70, also a few. you know, it's almost like a geriatric ward already. Not geriatric ward. Yeah. So, but they can sit 1 hour. It's not the first time I see them. Hopefully, the health is still good. But anyway, even at that age, sometimes they sit relaxingly straight. It may be a little bit bent. They may not be that straight anymore, but they're a bit bent. So to them, we consider it as relatively straight for their level, and they're comfortable. So here, if you don't have that problem, not yet, so try to keep it straight, and even if it's slightly bent, it's perfectly okay. Later on, after sitting for a while, the body may tilted to the front or slightly to the side a little bit, and it's not a problem for Vipassana meditation. Yeah. We are not emphasizing on how beautiful the body is or how straight the body is. Everything is internal. Yeah. So if it's a body slightly bent forward, after you sit for maybe 10, 15 minutes, it goes slightly forward a bit. And if you feel comfortable in that position, and it's fine. If you find that it's not too comfortable, you want to adjust back to the straight again, also okay. But you must not think of it as always must keep the body as straight as a pillar. So straight. So don't do that. We are not here to sit how straight we are. That one is just, as I said, this body is just to support the process of the meditation. Yeah? So what else? The eyes again, you close your eyes. For those who are wearing specs and you want to take off the spec, also okay. You want to wear specs, also it's up to you. It's perfectly fine. But in the long term, even the specs for me, like you can feel like after a while, as if like a two rock is like pressing onto the nose. It can if the senses, our senses usually in the meditation, it gets enhanced a little bit more than what when we are not meditating. So even when it enhances, you feel that the sensation and the heaviness is for the spectacle also. Yeah. So it's up to you. It's up to you. You um, take off or you want to wear. It's up to you. Then the eyes. The eyes, you keep it closed. Okay, we keep it closed, and the eyes is about 2 to 3 feet in front, looking in front of you, not looking straight, no? Not looking straight, but more like downcast to about 2 to 3 feet in front of you. Yeah? Downcast is good because sometimes when there are people around, if it's moving in front of you, sometimes if you were to stare straight, even with your eyes closed, you can feel a sense like a shadow or lights like passing through in front. Yeah? So we keep it downcast, relax the even the eyes also. Yeah. So more or less, this is the part of the external part. Yeah. Now we try to sit as much on the sitting cushion as much as possible. But perhaps one day we have a difficulty of sitting cross-legged. Then we may need to find a bench over here, yeah, or elsewhere. Now, when you want to sit on the bench, make sure that also you don't try not to lean to the back. You sit on the bench, okay, but don't lean onto the back. When you lean, it creates a lot of like too relaxed uh, physical position, and then it will create a lot of drowsiness and lack of mental effort. Mm. When you sit on the bench also or on the chair, you have to sit also like mimicking the cross-legged position. Mimics in the sense of the thighs only. So you have to sit like slightly, not in the not the two thighs are parallel, but the thighs also has to be in a slightly in a V shape, just like what when we do on the cushion. It has a slightly on a V shape. So on that V shape, it gives you it gives you the stability. So for sometimes they just use a towel to cover their legs too. So it's fine. It's good. And that it gives you a better stability. Yeah. Just to sit on a V shape and then you just put your hands and then you carry on meditation. Yeah. Some days, try not to sit on the bench too much. I know when you sit on the bench, there'll be less challenges. Yeah, less challenges, especially regarding on the pain and the uh, unpleasant feelings. When less challenging, the mind gets soft. When there's a bit more challenge, yes, the mind gets better. Yeah? So this is on the more or less on the position of the external position of the sitting. Okay. Now we go in. We go into the more important part of the objects of the meditation that we are supposed to pay attention. Yeah? Now here in this technique of meditation, there are when we sit down, what we do is that we try to when everything is ready, when everything is ready, then for the first thing what we do is that just for a few times, be aware of your body being here and now again, sitting position. So what you do is that you label it as sitting, 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 sitting. From head, you scan it down to the you scan it down to the buttocks or scan it down to the legs. Sitting, 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 sitting. Bring the mind back again to the present and knowing that you are in the sitting position right now. Put all the thoughts aside, just feel it a few times. Just like when you are walking, before we start walking, we aware of the standing position. Then you do standing, standing, standing. So now you do sitting, sitting, sitting. Okay? Now, next thing. Next thing is that we note the we note the stomach area, the abdominal area. Yeah? Now here you breathe naturally. You breathe naturally. Just breathe naturally, like you breathe in, breathe out. Let the body do its work. Now the next thing is that you put your attention onto the stomach area here. Yeah? You notice the stomach area here. Then what you should do is to learn to feel the movement of the abdomen. Not the breath, not the upper part of the face here, but around the stomach area, or sometimes once in a while you can feel in the chest area. Well and good. Okay, as long as something is moving. So, for beginners, if you are not familiar with this rising and falling of the abdomen, what we do is that we take our palms or cushion, we just put it around the area here, the stomach area here. And just touch it gently and then breathe naturally. Breathing in, then as if like the stomach expand, then you label it as rising. Rising, it falling. Rising, then you label falling, mentally rising, falling, rising, falling. It feels a bit vague in the beginning of the first few days. It's not easy for many people just to feel a clear movement of the rising and falling abdomen. It kind of like you feel it a few times, after then it goes into a lot of thinking. Yeah? So it's not that easy, but it's all about habit, all about trying it again and again until you get the habit right. Then you can follow the rising and falling of this movement better. Honestly speaking, some yogis, some meditators take 1 or 2 to 3 retreats before they get something clear. So it's not as simple as it is, even though this stomach is with us, even though we've been breathing it for the whole part of our life. And yet when we want to put the attention there, the mind is vague, the mind is not clear, the mind is not used to it with the body. Yeah? So most of the time we're inside our head, inside our minds, inside our thoughts. Yeah? So free the mind from the thoughts and then bring the attention over here to the rising and falling of the abdomen. As I said, label them again and again. It rise, you notice rising. It falls, go falling. Rising maybe for some people is going forward, or most people actually is going forward, backward. So forward you label as rising, it goes backward, you label as falling. Some people, the rising means going upwards. Yeah, it may go upward a little bit, rising, okay, falling, also okay. All right. So whichever way, however it shows you, you pay attention to them as they are. Yeah? If sometimes the rising can be longer than the falling, then again you acknowledge that too. You don't try to breathe in a little bit more to make them both the same. Yeah? It's not for you to judge. The body wants to do what it wants to do. Your job as an observer, you observe, you note. That is the job of our Vipassana meditator. We don't go and disturb the phenomena. Our Vipassana is to sit and observe what happened. Just like when you are in the science lab, when you produce certain reaction and then you throw in a bit chemical, then you wait for it to see what is going on. This is what we do. We sit there pay attention to see what's going on with the movement of the rising and falling. The truth, the big truth, is all hidden inside here. It's already there. It's just that our mind is not clear enough to see their true nature of things as they really are. So there's a lot of potential, there's a lot of development here, even with this stomach area. Yeah. So pay attention to them. Pay attention to them as best as you can. Then, let's say if you cannot feel the rising and falling after you try for a few times, the next object I want you to pay attention is to pay attention to to your touch right now of your hands. So, bring the attention from the rising and falling to the touching experience, and you label it as touching, 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 touching. And while you are labeling as touching, I want you to feel the touch also. Just like when you're doing the lifting, pushing, dropping, when you step down, you notice some sensation. So too the touch, also the same thing. It's a touching, and you learn to feel a sensation like hot or warm or sweatiness, discomfort, pleasant, or whatever that you can feel. Okay? Keep the mind occupied with these objects, and you take note of them. Now, if the rising and falling comes back, bring the mind back again to feel the rising and falling again. Okay? Now, while you are doing this meditation, doing sitting meditation, if the thoughts come in, again, what do? Just like in the walking, don't go into the story. The most important part is you don't go in story. Don't answer the questions inside the thoughts. Don't comment on anything. Don't let it drift away. Bring the mind back to the present moment. It is so important to come back to the present moment. Thoughts, you have to put everything aside. All the thinking and everything you have to put aside. But the next few days, it's not the thoughts is the problem. It's the sleepiness. It's going to be a big issue. The moment I give you 20 minutes, you'll be in lullaby. And some people snore. How they snore while sitting? I cannot figure that out. I don't know. But we heard once in a while, Anyway, the first few days is going to be challenging because we are not used to the sitting, and the body is adjusting to the time. With the body, we have to go through like 6 to 7 sittings per day. So there will be a lot of your sittings will be drowsy, and it's okay. It's still okay. Make sure that your walking meditation, you do it well. You do it well. Then sometimes if you go into, let's say, half an hour, and it's so drowsy, nothing much that you can do. What you can do is that just get up from the sitting for a while, do a bit of walking, stretch yourself out for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, then come back to sit again to finish the hour. To finish that hour. I know it's difficult, but usually this is usually for about first 4-5 days, the sleepiness can be quite heavy. After that, when the sleepiness gets less, this is where you begin to notice a bit more things in your meditation. So it takes time. You got to be patient. Don't judge your meditation of your overall development on the first 3 days. The first 3 days is going through a very cloudy nature of the state of mind. So that is not a good. You have to break through that part first. It's just like the aeroplane when it flies through the clouds. When you go through the clouds, it's so bumpy all the time. Beep, beep, bum, bum, beep, beep, bum, bum. And then after it passes through the clouds, then everything gets clear. This is the same thing. While we are in drowsiness, sleepiness, it's like we are in the clouds, not clear at all. So be patient, put in the effort, and keep going. Yeah. Now, during the sitting also, if later on, if there are sensation like itchiness comes in, let's say, and itchiness is dominant and is clear, so you let go of that rising, falling, or any other object, pay attention to that itchiness. Here, try not to scratch anything. Don't scratch the itchiness too. You got to bear up. Bear up with a little bit of itchiness, unpleasantness. Stay with it. Stay with it. And then here you bring in the labeling. Itchy, 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 itchy. At the same time, you feel the sensation of that itchiness. Try to notice what type of itchiness, like sometimes it's like a poking itchiness, sometimes it's like a burning itchiness, sometimes it's multiple parts of itchiness. That is how vipassana is to develop, to see them as they are. I know it's difficult, but pay attention to them. If let's say you sit down, after for a while, you may notice that you're getting warm. You're getting a bit warm. Here, if you get a bit warm, you're not supposed to immediately go and take off your shawl, take off the jacket. No, not yet. Stay with it first. Feel the warmness first. Warm, 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 warm. And feel the warmness. How is the warmness is like? Now, after some time, let's say the body cools down, then the warmness disappear, then you don't feel that uncomfortableness again, then actually you don't move the body. You just watch how the warmness is spreading around the body, or sometimes the warmness is just one part of the body and not the other part of the body. Why is it like that? Don't have to ask. Just feel them as they are. They are part of the body in that sense. So it's all about learning to um, able to keep the mind steady, keep the mind balanced, keep the mind calm in however the difficulty comes in. Even that little warmness that comes in, even that itchiness that comes in, or little like unpleasantness of pulling or sensation coming in, take note of them. Yeah? In the if you're able to sit and you don't move, usually the later part, 20 minutes or half an hour later, this is where the pain comes in. The bodily pain comes in. Numbness, heart pain, soft pain, buttock pain, here pain, there pain, everywhere pain comes in. This is one of the most difficult type of meditation object that for vipassana yogis to go through. Yeah. Now again here, the pain is not the problem actually. It's our not the mind is not well developed. That's where we cannot take it. Now, when the pain comes in, if a strong pain comes in, pay attention to them. Put the rising and falling aside and begin to pay attention to the pain. Yeah? Say this time is a very numbing pain. You sit there, then there's a strong numbing sensation in the thigh area or the knees area. Now, what you do again here, you have to keep the mind strong as best as you can. Label it as numbing, 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 or pulling, 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 pulling. If you feel the numbing or you feel the pulling sensation or whatever sensation is there, it's going to get more difficult, more challenging. While you're at it, try to keep your mind there. Pain or numbing, 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 numbing. And if you can, sometimes the numbing may want to move from one part of the leg to another part. If it moves, follow it. Follow how it moves. Observe what is going on with the sensation, with the numbing sensation, and follow it. Uh, uh, Sometimes you're going to get stronger and stronger and stronger until you give up. Yeah. But Vipassana meditation is all about observing them. They're going to get stronger, yes. They come to your limit, yes. For now, yes. because your limit is that much only. But if you can start meditating better, then your limit is, your patience is going to get bigger. That means even the pain comes in, the numbness comes in, you can withstand it for a longer period of time. But in the meantime, when the mind is not trained, if you feel 5 minutes as if like it's forever. Little pain is going to be like forever. But when if something pleasant comes in, you wish it to be there as long as you can. But it doesn't last. Yeah. So the pain, you got to bear up with it. You got to pay attention to the pain as best as you can until hopefully the hour is up. Hopefully. Yeah. For beginners, usually 20 minutes or half an hour maybe can do, you know. Passing through that half an hour can be a bit challenge. So what you do is this, like first few days is you try, because the more that you do this walking meditation, the more you can sit longer actually. You cannot just sit longer if you want to without anything, you just go and meditate. You're going to have a hard time. The walking meditation is very helpful, especially on the third phase. So you got to do that third phase thoroughly. You do it as best as you can, and then you'll see that day in, day after day, you will see that that you can able to actually sit a bit longer, and you can withstand the pain a little bit longer. Other words, yeah, your mind gets a little bit more clearer as you pass from one day to another day. But you got to be patient. You got to put in the effort. You got to put in the effort. Yeah? Try to have like okay, first few days you do that. You try to finish that 30 minutes. Yeah. Next few days you try to finish like 14 minutes. Another 2 more days, 15 minutes. By the end of your retreat, you hit the 1 hour. This is how we push. Yeah. This is not like one thing go and then you want to do it. It's not that easy. But if you could do it, well and good. For those who have done retreats before, you could sit 1 hour, then go ahead. Yeah? But for beginners, it's going to be quite a challenge. We understand that, but this is where slowly we push. Okay, so you try to finish the hour. If you get up and do a bit of walking, come back again, try to finish the hour as best as you can. Yeah? Then after that, make sure you do the walking properly. Now, if you do the walking, you know your toilet is quite far away. So you have to start your doing your walking meditation. Even you go to your toilet, yeah, and come back from your toilet. Don't wait until you come back from the toilet and then you want to start walking meditation. From here to there and back may take you about 10 to 15 minutes already. You know? So make sure that even you go to the toilet, you just do right step, left step, right step, left step, and whatever is beside you, just put them all aside. Just right step, left step, right step, left step. And then it will be very helpful. Then you come back, walking time, you walk, sitting time, you sit. Okay? Any question on the sitting before we go? Okay, if there's none, good. And tonight also at what time? 8:15, right? 8:15, I'll start with the Dhamma talk. 8 o'clock, 8 to 8:15. You know, those who are meditating, get up and go to the toilet. By the time I come back, maybe 8:15, 8:20, around that time. Then we start the Dhamma talk about another topic. Okay, we stop here for now. Yeah? We'll continue this on tonight.